Hey, what's going on, Soldier? Welcome back to yet another video. Today, this is going to be more of a kind of theory crafting video, although I do have some halfway decent basis for the things I'm going to be talking about. We're not just going to be watching over the new cinematic for the Pyke reveal. It's not just going to be a reaction video. You've probably already seen it. It's probably going to be playing in the background right now, but holy moly. I'm a big fan of the whole Victorian Jack the Ripper kind of vibe. We've got another serial killer coming to the game, apparently, similar to Jin. And he's going to be a support. He's a Bilgewater themed support. And he looks like the madman from Heroes of New Earth back in the day. I made a video on that a couple of days ago, so that's why I'm kind of drawing those parallels. But I very much like the aesthetic of this character. But there's a couple of things that I think are really great about this character. Some of the information that we have been given through subtle little hints and little things that Riot has said here and there, and just the overall theme of the character, that I think is really interesting, because I don't think we've ever had anything like this in League of Legends, and I'll explain why. So before we get into what I think Pyke is going to be like, what his abilities are going to be like, we have to look at the current supports that we have in League of Legends. Now, for the most part, the damage dealing bot lanes that we have, for instance Lux, for instance Brand, for instance Vel'Koz, or Zyra, these are all characters that are pretty commonplace in bot lane. They do a lot of damage, but they were never really created as supports. They were all mid laners, they were all created to do damage in mid lane, and it just so happened that they were kind of repurposed by the players to go bot lane. And all of League of Legends history, I can't think off the top of my head of a support character that was actually designed to do damage. Like, they do damage, sure, but they weren't designed to be a damage dealer. And this is something that I've always thought was kind of missing from League of Legends, that it was never really all that common, and it tends to be that people really don't necessarily like that kind of thing in a support. You always see people, they just prefer a Janna, they prefer a Lulu, they prefer a Sona or a Nami who's going to stand back and press a couple of buttons here and there. That is like the big pool of people that what ADCs want in supports. They don't really want to give too much playmaking abilities to their to their support. Or, you know, even characters that have a lot of impact on the game, Alistar, Leona, Thresh, stuff like that. They don't really necessarily do a lot of damage, they just are CC bots. So we haven't really seen characters made by Riot that have like been tooled towards, okay, we're gonna make a support and he's gonna do a lot of damage. Whereas like you can look at Dota 2 for instance, where a character I used to really love was called Lion. Lion is a character that is a nuker, and these are a class of character in Dota 2. They're called nukers, and they are supports, but their role is to eliminate the AD carry, or eliminate the mid laner, or just basically pick one person, and their kit is focused around really high single target damage, but beyond that, they're pretty much useless. So Lion's abilities was, he could knock people up, which stunned in a line. He could miniaturize somebody, which made them really small and unable to do anything. He could also drain mana, so he could stop enemies from casting spells, or like he could take their mana away from them. And his ulti was, he just points his finger, and just like Inuyasha, he just goes bang and shoots them in the head and can do a lot of damage.
Bam.
So why am I talking about all this? Well, the point is, I think for the very first time in League of Legends history, we have a character, Pyke, who is actually going to be created as I don't know if nuker is exactly the correct phrase, but he's going to be an assassin. And you're probably thinking, Ross, how did you get this idea that he's being created as an assassin? He's clearly going to be a support. Well, if you look at the champion roadmap, which we're going to be looking at in this video, Riot are very particular with the words that they choose when describing the character that they haven't even really released yet. So I'm going to bring this up on the screen, we're going to read it together, and I'm going to show you why this is going to be the very first assassin support in League of Legends. So as we can see here, the first post is from the champion roadmap. This is like from April 2018, and it says, never turn your back on the sea. Right, let's get into this. Let's reset a bit and wade right into the next champion we're adding to the list. We felt it was time to execute on a new support with a darker, deeper thematic than most of our support cast. We want to create an aggressive playmaker, someone who doesn't just save a drowning ally, but who forces their enemies to drown themselves by their own hands. Keep your health high, your eyes to the sea, and pray you aren't on the list. So, there's a couple of words in there. A couple of words in there that are very scary if you play AD carry, but I think are pretty much on the money. So first of all, we've got, let's reset a bit. So this character is going to have resets. I'm pretty certain we're going to have a reset, and it's potentially going to be the ultimate. And also we have, it's time to execute on a new support with a darker, deeper thematic than most. So, the chances are that we're going to have a character that has an ultimate, that is an execute, and also resets. Now, this may be a jump, but this is obviously a theory video, and it's my video, so I'm going to go ahead and do this. So it says here, who doesn't just save a drowning ally, but who forces their enemies to drown themselves by their own hands. Now, the only thing that I can compare this to, or I think might be very, very similar, might be potentially what this character does. Now, this character is very knife, kind of knife thematically, like he's knife thematically. He has a big knife in his video, right? He has this massive serrated knife that he uses to stab people, and he lurks and he sneaks up on people and he assassinates them and all that kind of stuff. This is the perfect type of knife for like cutting arteries and cutting veins and basically cutting people up and making them bleed. This is the perfect weapon for doing that. My official TM Ross Boomsock's theory is that this character's ultimate is that he's going to cut the enemy, and if they try and run away, they bleed, but if they stand still, it does no damage. So it would initially cut them, and then the more HP they are, the more damage it does if they try to run. That is my thought, because it says by their own hands, which means that the enemy has to do something to hurt themselves, which kind of falls in line with that kind of theme, and it makes sense with the knife, and I think I'm onto something. I actually genuinely think I'm onto something here. So, if you've ever played Dota 2, there's a character called Bloodseeker who can, like, stab the enemy. He puts the thing on the enemy, and basically, they have to either make a choice. Do you want to run away and take damage and maybe get away, or stand still and potentially be, you know, your cannon fodder? You're standing on the spot, you're not really able to run, you're screwed. And it seems very, very likely, or I just feel like that would be such a thematically good thing, cool thing to do, that I think that might actually be it. It might not be like the knife or something, but it could be like, because there's a lot of like, you know, obviously water and tying people up underwater kind of thing going on there, so maybe it has something to do with ropes or something, ropes or knives. That's going to be the thing that Pyke does to his enemies, and if he gets a kill on that person and it executes them because they decide to kill themselves, then he can get a reset, put it on somebody else, and just go straight ahead and go for that. Now, obviously this isn't the actual, this might not be the actual thing, but it sounds really cool, doesn't it? And I think it would be like the perfect thing thematically. I mean, like, look at his knife, just like it looks like, you know, it looks like the perfect knife to have an ability like that. And I know there's quite a few people that went to actually go playtest this character. I wasn't one of them, so I'm free to speculate as much as I want. And if I'm right about anything, oh by God, you know you're going to hear about it on Twitter. There's another part of this that says, keep your health high, your eyes to the sea, and pray you aren't on the list. I've seen a lot of community theories about potentially the fact that this thing, his list that he has, could be something very similar to like Rengar or Garen's passive, where like they target someone or they mark someone like Kindred, and then they get like extra AD or whatever for killing them or for being part of a takedown. So seems pretty likely. The whole list thing seems very important to his thematics. I believe he's probably, the net thing is going to be pretty important. It might be another grounded ability, like, or it might be similar to Caitlyn's traps. I'm not fully sure, but my theory would be that it's like a net that could potentially stop dashes or jumps or flashes. And if they try to flash or jump or whatever, it stuns them or roots them or something like that. But we'll see what happens anyway. I know that this is probably not the video you're looking for, but this is very exciting stuff to me, and I like reading between the lines, which is kind of easy to do considering Riot, like, they kind of hand you a lot of things with the word choice and stuff, I suppose. But a champion that's going to be AD, that is going to build, like, lethality probably, it's exciting. Maybe it's just because I played a lot of Pantheon support that I'm just like, Yes, I want this, but I finally want an AD bot lane that I can just in on and do damage with. But I think I might be kind of close with the ulti. I'm saying this, I'm probably gonna be completely wrong. I'm gonna be completely wrong. His like harpoon knife thing, I'm probably gonna be very, very wrong on. But we'll see. We'll see. Nevertheless, I like the idea of I'm probably gonna release this, and tomorrow or something, they're gonna show that I was completely wrong. It's probably what's gonna happen, but I don't care. I'm having fun anyway. Anyway, guys, I'll be back again tomorrow. I'm gonna do a Metamancer for tomorrow, I think, and we're gonna try and do some community theme stuff with it. So I'll see you then. Take care. Have a good one, guys.